internet, how you guys doing? Kim and Chris back with another episode of Rambling Tea Time.
Hey everyone. Hey everyone.
So Chris, what's up?
I'm doing pretty good. A little hot on the weather, but I'm doing pretty good. And you?
I'm fine. Seeing anyone, Chris?
No.
No one? You're not
No. There's
doing
no
anything?
love in my life right now.
Unfortunate.
Feel if you're dissing me, bro.
No, I'm not seeing anyone either. I get all of my romance and lovey-dovey from the TV and the comics.
You live vicariously through your media, as I guess you can say.
Exactly, exactly. Speaking of,
Oh.
you know how I re-downloaded Tapas
Okay.
onto my phone, right? And you know they have a lot of like set in that time period with like nobles and kings and queens and stuff like that.
Ah, yes.
That's like continuously coming out now.
Yes.
But the one that I keep like every time I blink around the corner, it's always something to do with like a villainess.
Ah,
And also in
yes.
that period, and I'm just like, why are there so many? And I think that we did speak about, you said that there were a lot of, originally, there are a lot of novels and light
Yes.
novels. So the stories are there and that they were being adapted
Yeah.
to comic form now.
It kind of blew up within like last like 2 to 3 years. The whole the villainess thing has been there before, but it's kind of like how isekai stuff
Yeah,
exploded.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now it's kind of exploding itself. So every day you see a whole like new villainess thing.
I swear there's a new one every day.
There is. I literally have started a new one like sometime earlier this week.
Honestly, you can probably read a new one every day
Yes.
of the year from
Yes.
what I've seen.
Yes.
And
There
you
are
know
so
what?
many.
My list, I'm not super into the villainess, but I
I
just
am.
keep falling in. I keep being dragged in.
I know that I suggested you some like
Yeah,
years ago, a few
yeah.
years ago, because I am totally into it. I am super 100% a villainess fan. Like, yes, they have some tropey stuff, same as Isekai, but I somehow like the villainess trope stuff. I like it. I've fallen in love with it. I have many of them actually.
How do you first get into the whole villainess thing?
I would have to say that it was 2 or so years ago, and it was Beware the Villainess, or maybe even further back. It was that,
I feel like
and
you recommended me that
yes, I did.
2 or 3 years ago, so it has to be longer.
I don't, though there's always been like stuff that was out there, but for me, I really only like latched on to Beware the Villainess, and then from there it was the one with Baccarina.
Right.
I
The
think that's
Otome game.
yes. My next life as a villainess leads to all roads lead to death or something like that, or
Yeah,
doom.
yeah,
Right? That was the next one because they were very comedic,
yeah.
and I kind of like liked that, and they were blowing up, and my friends in Discord, all of us were reading it,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like all of us were just like enjoying these,
Oh,
especially
you
silliness of
know
Melissa
what
and
I
Baccarina.
remember
But
with Beware the Villainess, when you recommended it to me, there were like 60 or 70 chapters out,
yes,
and I had told you I read all night to
yes, I
finish
know.
because I couldn't stop
It's
the from the
good.
first time you told me about it. And no, this is hilarious, and her different faces. I love it. And Nine is so cute, and they're getting married. In any case, yeah, that one was good, but I had issues with Baccarina.
Ah. I know. I
She
think I know what the issues are going to be, but continue.
she continued after like the first arc, should we call it?
Yeah.
She continued to be the same way. Like she didn't have any growth as a character, and she just was dense.
Yes.
Still,
She,
I couldn't take it.
she is the dense female main character trope who also forms a harem around them but doesn't realize it or doesn't actively act on it type of thing. And kind of liked that framing because she's all about I want to avoid doom, so I'm not going to be nice to everybody. And if I do get in trouble, I'll be able to fend for myself.
Hmm.
But she doesn't realize that she's pretty much creating a whole like family around her type of thing, which is fine. It's fine, but the story can't last long without the non-progress like that.
Right. It got boring for me
Yes.
because she didn't see the other characters change and grew.
Hmm.
But she was the only one who stayed the same. And maybe in some other story, being consistent as a character would be fine. But I feel like her character should grow
Yes.
now. Some,
I mean, the first part, this is kind of spoilers a bit, it ended, and then the second part started. Kind of just like that was one timeline where she got a good end, and then another timeline just started. And
right.
I kind of, at that time, I was like, this is cool and all, but I don't care. I already got my fill of Baccarina for now. I don't need to see another timeline where she is pretty much doing the same thing, but
Yeah.
probably going to get a different outcome. That's cool and all, but I had enough. I think my favorite so far right now, and I continue to read it, and I think a new update might be coming out soon, is Death is the only ending for the villainess. I think I've also
Yes.
suggested this to you as well.
You did. This is
Ah,
also my favorite
this
ongoing.
is okay. I quite like it because she is also her whole thing is that she fell into a game on hard mode, and she's now playing the character Penelope, and all of these she has to deal with all the her family not liking her, and she can see the the approval rating of people
Right, their
around her,
favorability. Yeah,
favorability,
yeah.
and her just trying everything that she can get proper favorability so she doesn't die. And all sorts of stuff like that. And I just enjoy how she's truly like trying to eke out every bit of like existence,
Yeah.
and you think the game will let up, but the game doesn't let up. The game just keeps throwing odd curveballs at her and all sorts of
Yeah, yeah.
bullshit at
I
her.
hated this is obviously another spoiler, but I hated how the favorability bar now is hidden
Yes,
after you reach what was
the 70.
77%.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would only be hidden for one person
No,
as they reach 77,
it
but it's
locked.
for all of them. Oh
Yes.
my God, I hate that.
I also think the color of how the favorability comes into play as well, but they haven't hinted exactly on at if it's actually a thing.
I thought at first that that was just like their
I don't know.
personality, but
It
it
might,
seems to
but it
be
seems to be
something
something else.
else.
Yes. Yes. It feels like it might be something very sus.
I feel like in Ecclesi's
This
his
is
is
a
like a
dark
dark red.
gray.
Yeah, yeah, but I feel like that maybe is like an obsessive like
Ah.
love or something maybe.
So maybe the color of the favorability describes the type of love type of
Right,
thing.
right, right. Because you know
Oh,
there's
that's not
like
good then.
philia and there's like there are all kinds of different types of love in the
There
first place.
is
We just say
romantic,
love, but there's yeah,
familial,
exactly, yeah, exactly.
there's the
There's
obsessive.
between friends, there's
Yes.
between family, there's like parents to children, there's romantic.
Mm-hmm.
There's different kinds.
You
So
think okay? I think that probably is 100% true. I
think
think
so.
so because I don't know. I don't trust Eclis, but I'm gonna save that for another day. I don't trust him at all. He just I don't know.
Okay, but she doesn't really trust him either. She just doesn't
She
want to
just needs
get
him as
killed.
a
She does
weapon.
exactly. She doesn't know whether he will betray her and whatever either.
I feel I feel like the fact that we're seeing a lot more scenes. We know we're completely talking about this thing. I feel that
It's fine.
we're seeing a lot more scenes with him and him being kind of sussy wussy. Kind of got me thinking in my back. I'm just thinking I have bad feelings about him.
Hmm.
Right? I just my is my radar is going like is like no, this isn't a red herring. This is something is wrong with him.
Uh-huh.
Right? So I just feel like yeah, that ain't gonna work out.
Yeah, I feel I don't want it to work out with
That ain't gonna
him
work out.
either because he has a cloud over him. Let's just say,
Yes.
people sometimes have clouds over them, and you shouldn't approach them or try to
Yes.
rile them up or
Mm.
anything because things will just go badly.
Yes.
And the one that I like the most is the Crown Prince.
Everybody likes the fucking Crown Prince.
No, I don't like him because he's the Crown Prince. I like
His
him
attitude.
exactly.
Yeah.
I like his behavior. You know, she always is saying why he has to speak so cross, but I like his bluntness and straightforwardness. I like that a
Yes.
lot. Because you know, he doesn't beat around the bush.
Yeah.
I don't like when people are trying to do that in the first place. So I like that direct, you know, straightforwardness from him. And they also, we have seen that they're brought up. See, I keep saying brought up.
Yeah,
See,
you
but our
use that word a
characters
lot.
won't know what. I mean, our audience doesn't know what brought up. See, it just
How
means how you
somebody's
were
raised
raised.
or brought up.
Exactly. So their upbringing, there is an
Yes, that's a
English word.
word.
Their upbringings are similar in the ways that they were treated by their
Yes.
families, so they can more relate to one another, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel she's going to become less. She's like scared of him, kind of now, because she doesn't want
Yeah.
to get killed. But he wouldn't
I
kill her, I
think
have
he
to
is
say.
probably the safest of
Exactly,
all the people.
exactly.
Like, period.
And probably next is the mage.
Oh, right. I haven't
He
seen him in a
he's
while.
he let me tell you who he is. He's that character who makes it a three party kind of what do you call it? A
Ah,
love
a
triangle,
three.
but
Love
he
triangle.
doesn't get the love. He's the one that looks on, sadly.
Wow.
No, he feels that way to me, doesn't he to
He
you?
does feel like a third wheel, but an
Exactly.
ally still,
No, right.
regardless. Yeah.
He's more fit into like he got friend zone, but he's a friend. You know what I mean? I'm
Yes.
sorry, but that's how his character come across to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I don't like the eldest brother,
I don't know. He can suck ass. Nobody
Derek.
care. Fuck off.
He's whatever. For real, just whatever him.
Derek is a shit. The second brother, he's trying to not be a shit, and the dad seems like he's trying to,
Yeah.
but I feel like all of them are gonna end up betraying her anyways.
What when the real story starts? Because
Yes,
her thing
kind
is
of.
what it said in a month.
In a
No,
month, the real daughter is supposed to show up or whatever. All right, let's stop talking about the different
there's
like.
so many spoilers already. Oh wow.
Nobody don't worry about that. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. You see how much I like it. I
Yeah.
never really thought that I would be a person who would be into like all of this romance drama nonsense with villainess type of
It's
story
not
stuff. It
nonsense.
isn't
It's
nonsense.
life.
It's you
You
know
know what
how
I want to see though?
what?
I want to see it from a male perspective.
Oh, you mean a villain, but he's in a situation where it's like a romantic type of
Exactly.
thing?
It has to be exactly like these, just that it's not a villainess,
But it's a
it's a
villain.
villain. And there are a lot where it's like I fell in love with the villain's dad, or I seduced the villain's dad, or you know, I became the villain in a novel or blah blah blah
But it's
blah.
more like
But
focus on the action
action,
and the
exactly.
power
The
fantasy.
system of the world and
Yeah.
how it works and stuff like that.
Yeah, a villain POV where they have to struggle with keeping people's favorability up or like making sure that they keep romantic options viable is kind of rare in
Hmm.
itself. Number one, just seeing a male POV from a setting where they have to be like the romantic interest and trying to like thing is mostly you see it more like regular romantic slice of life harem stuff or just
Right.
like like regular things that is you don't ever see it in the whole villainess or villain genre or anything like that with reincarnation because it's
Yeah.
always probably like probably the background, not even secondary, but romance is mostly tertiary and
It
those type
is.
of
It
things,
is.
and you rarely ever see the actual you have to try to figure out favorability or interest for these characters type of situation, things like that. Unless you then go to the more erotic type stuff, but that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
So, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. I am the villain and I must keep these kingdoms from going to war by romancing like all the queens or whatever stuff like that,
No, no, no.
trying
See,
to
that
keep
still
things from going to
veers
war.
into harem or even
I mean, well,
etchy.
yeah. Well, you don't
You're
need to
trying to
veer.
not
You
go
could.
there like that. We're not trying to make him a sleazeball.
I mean, you can still. You can be a sleazeball that kept the goddamn countries from going to war. So, I mean,
I hear you, but we're not trying
I
to
know, I
put the
know.
villain in a place where he has to take a zillion concubines or something.
It's very interesting. I understand what you mean though, but that's
Men
not
need
something.
romance too. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah, I
say.
agree. I agree.
It's not like maybe they're not a lot of them because I don't know. There's not a calling or something. There's not an outcry from the people.
I
But there are
disagree.
so many men. There's so many people who do not identify as a gender who like, to
I don't.
feel romance, who like romantic stuff, who like the lovey-dovey
I
cutesy
I think you
things.
might be onto something with the whole idea of romance that is just targeting towards men in a way. But I don't. It feels like such a thing that isn't
No, no,
like.
I'm not trying to target it
I meant, but you
towards
get what I mean,
men.
right? But you get
It's
what I mean,
like
right?
I
Or like
want to
focusing on
see it
guys,
exactly through a
a
a
guy's
guy's
point of view. Ah, yeah, that's true.
perspective.
Hmm. I mean, there's stuff, but there's not a lot of good stuff like that, is there?
I haven't found anything, and I have looked. I have looked.
Mm, mm.
So yeah.
Do you have any like other type of villainess stuff that you like, man?
Um, Recently on tapas again,
Of
because
course.
that's my source these days. Recently, there's one called The Villainess's debut novel.
Hmm.
So it starts off with the female lead as like from way way back in Korea, I guess when they called it Goryeo, or
Oh, okay.
maybe
Oh,
not even as far back, but back then when they used to wear a hanbok in normal day,
Joyeon,
Joseon,
Joseon. Isn't it Joseon period?
maybe
Yeah,
it could
Goryeo is
be.
too far back.
Goryeo is too
Yeah.
right when they were like fighting against the people, what do you call
Uh,
them,
you're talking about
from
the
the Khan,
Mongols?
Mongolia. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's too
That's
too
too far
far.
back. Yeah, that's a bit
No,
too far
probably
back.
Joseon. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So she sees her lover. He gets killed. Don't know
Oh.
what he was executed for, but he was. And then she writes this book.
Mm.
It's a collection of seven stories, supposed to be love stories, but anyone who reads the book to the end ends up killing themselves.
Oh.
So they had a lot of suicides back then. And
Okay.
the emperor or whoever it was at the time said, we need to get these books off because there was like an outcry. The people couldn't take all of the suicides. So
Were the books magical, I guess?
they are saying that there's a curse on the book.
Uh,
So that's what happened. They tried to get the books from stop
yeah, from
printing them, and they also tracked her down to try to kill her. But
why?
because she's the one who wrote the book, anyhow, go with me,
This
go
is
with
like when
it.
people's like, oh man, Romeo and Juliet was just like me for real, and then they kill themselves.
Well, there could be a curse on the book. Who knows?
Okay, continue.
In any
Sorry.
case, so now, well, not now, before that, when she was about to be executed, she, no, not no, was she about to be executed? Or I think she tried to kill herself. But
I see
like
a
a
theme
Grim
in this story.
Reaper kind of thing turned up and wouldn't, he like saved her, but
Okay.
also she grabbed the sword and still, cut herself, but her her penance kind of is to continually be reborn. So since then, way back then, she's been reborn as dogs, as pigs, as humans again. So she's had many lives, but she has to track down every printed copy of the book and destroy it.
This sounds like really unfair.
It is because this
Who
is
is the
what ended up
printing
happening. Listen,
company?
listen to this.
What the
Listen to this.
fuck, bro?
At as we get into it and it's in modern day, she
Does the butt still exist in modern day?
right, they're only a few,
Okay, okay,
like a handful. They're like a handful. It
okay.
was less than 10, and where I'm at, there were supposed to be like only 5 now, and that's like in the very beginning. You understand? However,
Somebody found
this
it and printed
guy,
it.
exactly, this guy, he wanted to lure whoever was getting ahead of him because he wanted a copy of the book for his own
Uh
reasons.
huh.
I won't say why because that would be spoiler. Um, and so he lures her by saying that he is going to print, he's gonna make an ebook, which should make her task, like impossible then. Because if it becomes an ebook,
You are trapped
how do
forever.
you can't get rid of something on the internet.
No, you
Exactly.
can't.
So she just her mission. She will have to continually be reborn and
Yeah.
die and be reborn and just she wouldn't be able to do it.
Yes,
In
she
any
would not.
case, that didn't happen, but the guy, he looks like her love from back in the Joseon period who was killed. So he looks like him and yeah, it's an interesting new villainessy thing from the different ones I've seen, to be
It's an
honest.
interesting take. I like the take. It feels really unfair to the girl who wrote the book, though, that she has to hunt down all the copies of it. Like, damn,
Yeah.
that's kind of shit to do to a person. So it's like the book still has power to this day.
I I don't know.
Ah,
I should say I am
in the
because
beginning.
I'm not like all the way caught up to the latest
Mm.
chapters, but where I am, whatever, if it is a curse, we're kind of getting to find out if that's true or not.
Or she's being pranked.
Right. So then there's this other character that gets involved that feels like they're probably not human. And I don't mean the Grim Reaper
Mm-hmm.
who like lives with her and he like kind of fell in love with her as well, but we're not going to talk about that. Oh, through all these years he like fell in love with her, but we're not
Uh,
going to talk about that. Okay?
oh my god. I knew from the moment you mentioned it was a Grim Reaper, and then you mentioned the other guy. There's like he looks like her. I was like the Grim Reaper is on all the other love interests, isn't it? I was like the killing man is like,
Even
yep.
if he is the other love interest, it's not him. You know what I mean? It ain't you.
These stories, I love them, but I can see them. I can see the threads coming a mile away.
Yeah.
I can see them coming a mile away. Oh my god. Another one that I found pretty good and unique was something called Endo and Kobayashi's Commentary for the Villainess. Of the Villainess? Yeah, on the Villainess, I believe. And the way this starts out is that Endo and Kobayashi are two people who go to school together and they're part of a commentarying club.
Hmm.
They like do the radio type broadcast things for school and things
Hmm.
like that, like sports or whatever, right? And I think Kobayashi lends Endo a VN to play. He's like, she's like, it's really good. We could go watch it, and then we could do like a little talk about it, type of thing.
Hmm.
So he goes home, he plays the game, he comes back, he's like, oh, it was so sad, and the villainess is so misunderstood, and they wish that she didn't get the bad end. They talk about it, they like it. And, I think Kobayashi says something, like, come over to my house and we could play on like a weekend or something like that.
Hmm.
So they go over and they play, and a scene occurs where the villainess's character and the prince character or like having an altercation. The prince is walking away or whatever, and they start speaking to one another, and they're like, "Oh, we wish the prince could understand how she is, and that she isn't all like that, and she's kind of like a tsundere, and she
Uh,
needs help and whatnot. She's just like cold, and she needs assistance to like get along with people." And he hears them.
through
The
the game.
Yes, the prince hears them and thinks that they're gods sending him a message.
Wait, hold on. Does he know he's in a game?
I don't know. I don't think so, no. But it is in that instance when they're talking that he becomes aware of them.
Hmm.
And he thinks that they're gods
Hmm.
telling him about the princess and other things. And it is a very funny story. And it really does the whole good job of like getting people to understand that yes, she might seem like a villainess or rude character, but there's more to her going on, and she's
Right,
just
right.
kind of like a little bit sheltered and a little bit shy, a little bit strict with herself and others. So she comes across as cold and stuff. And through them talking to the prince, because the prince is the only person who can hear them, they he kind of like learns to like love the villainess in her own type of way and get along with her and
Uh-huh.
like understand her better because it's really good. It's really kind of cute. It's really hilarious, but it's really silly. I love it. I just love it. It's just because he can hear them and them just like over speaking, them
Are
being like,
they so they're aware that he's
yes,
aware?
yes, they're aware that he's aware and
Okay, but there's no way for him to communicate with
no.
them. Okay,
So
okay.
they're like giving him like little advice, and but they still like don't want to like be too like forceful,
Hmm.
from what I remember, because they still want stuff to play out. Because this is strange in itself that he's hearing them and they're being able to influence and literally change the story
Yeah.
from something that it wasn't. Because they know that down the road there's like witches and she gets possessed and then she becomes bad and then she ends up dying alone,
Oh
type of
wow.
stuff like that. So they're trying to like avoid that for her, like that type of stuff. So I find it very interesting, and it's a unique twist again once on the whole villainess idea and how to do stuff with it. Like I said, I really enjoy these. I have so many of them. I could talk about them
I
all
don't
day.
have many, but there's some tropes that I keep seeing that I don't really enjoy
Yeah,
them.
I mean,
It's the whole I don't mind the revenge, like getting
yes.
revenge, right? But when it stems from something really small, like a misunderstanding between people that
Mm.
is really minuscule. Yeah,
I mean, that
I,
is a trope within this genre itself of like this Victorian, medieval to Victorian Elizabethan fantasy type thing stuff that's going on with a lot of
I
these
think you could
villainess
just
story.
say the whole misunderstanding thing is in any romance thing because they think that's how we advance and get better. But
I
I
see
don't
now when it comes to romance misunderstandings, they're most of the time stupid,
exactly.
and I hate him.
Yeah.
So I do understand when I see it. The dumbest thing that happens is when they get along as a couple, they're open up, they communicate, and then they see them like speaking to like one person, and then they sneak around the corner, and then all of a sudden the whole relationship is in trouble, type of
I
shit.
don't get that either. It's
I'm
like
just like, bruh.
how do you go from 100 to 7?
It is just the author being like, I need to put drama
Right.
right
I
now
need like
again.
conflict here or something. It's like you don't always need conflict. What did it say? They say something about adversaries or adversary. What is that thing? Something about I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But that when there's like conflicts or adversaries that people grow or something, but that's not always necessarily true.
True. Sometimes it just resets all the progress in that thing that you're reading, and you just like, I don't want to read this anymore.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm not. I understand as well. The another trope that I kind of find in a lot of them, I don't think I hate it.
Hmm.
It is just everybody is an asshole.
What do you mean everybody?
Like What's the best way? Like the villainess was a villainess, yes. Most of the time,
Oh, but everyone around
everybody
her
else
is
around her is
also.
also an asshole.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like the only reason she exists out of being a villainess is because A, she might be the biggest asshole of all the assholes,
Hmm.
right? So that's understandable. Or it's just that everybody is an asshole and they decided to be an asshole for her, so she becomes an outcast. Or
In both
no,
cases, it's just that the villainess is trying to survive her best, though.
in most
In
cases,
those two instances that you gave, it would just be survival.
because everybody's an asshole.
Yeah.
This is so true.
Oh, you know what else I hate? I hate when the partner of the villainess
Mm.
is a cheating, sleazy scuzzbag. You know, it's like, okay, the villainess is engaged to the emperor, the king, or crown prince, or whatever,
Hmm.
heck, duke, whatever. They got so many titles. One of
All the
them fellas,
titles.
right,
A
that have the
noble.
title. Uh-huh. And he is the one who cheats with the apparent main character of maybe the
Yes,
novel
yes,
or
yes. It's always the
whatever.
main character of the
But the
novel.
villainess is the horrible person for
Yes.
trying to get back her man.
Or being like, we were, to be married because
Exactly.
you're the king and I'm like the head duchess of X,
I
Y,
don't
and
I
Z
don't like to
land,
see that
and by tying
trope.
our houses together, it's a political agreement.
Exactly.
Why are you trying to date Mary Sue X, Y,
Who was
Z?
a maid or whatever, and it's like, okay, okay, have her then. If you're gonna be like,
But don't be parading her out in public
exactly, exactly.
and ruining your standing in noble culture, you
Not
prick.
even that. Not even that. If he want to do that, let him do that. But sometimes the character does say that what he wants to have everybody. He needs to have the villainess, and everybody else as well belongs to him.
He trying to play his own harem game. That's what he
Right,
trying to
right,
do.
right. And because the villainess are maybe whoever that character is, the empress. There's so many
Yeah, yeah.
whatever characters. Will say that they like want a divorce, so they're gonna like annul our
No, the
engagement
engagement.
or blah blah blah. And then that guy character is all like, you. Is this a new? You trying to like add a different way to get me to like or I know that you're gonna come back to me so you can do whatever you're doing right now. It's like, dude,
You just.
you's a cheater. You understand what adultery is? Nobody don't want you.
I know of two villainess stories that are along the lines of something called "Of course I'll claim palimony,"
Oh my god, no! I am the one who told you about that.
and there's the other one who's like, oh, they claimed that I was a villainess, so of course got our marriage annulled
Christopher,
or
did I tell
something.
you about? I swear, I am
I
the one
don't
who told you about.
remember.
Of course, I was claiming pound money because when I told you about it, you didn't know about it.
Look, Kim,
But that one is great.
I haven't actually read that one yet.
But let me tell you about it. Let me
Okay.
tell you about it. So, of course, I'll claim pal money is about this girl
Hmm.
who she realizes that she's inside of this thing, this novel,
As you do.
and as one does, and she's like, I think she's also like some kind of noble, high
Of course, of
standing status
course.
in the world and everything, but she realizes that the person that she's engaged to is this character that is a complete jerk bag, just the worst, right? And he's actually cheating on her
Of
with this
course.
other character.
Like you
So she
do.
says that I wanna have not, they're not married because
But
they're still
no,
teenagers,
get
but
rid
they're
of
like,
her.
we're not gonna get married, we're annul our engagement, we're not gonna do that.
Hmm.
And she's gonna like rake in a whole bunch of money after she tells everyone that he was cheating. You
Yeah.
understand? And the girl who he was cheating with, she like somehow knows about the novel, the
So
book.
she's also in the book, but
The thing is, wait, is it that it was a novel? I can't remember. She read the book. There's an in storybook.
That's about them
that
being in a book
the
about.
main the our main character wrote. No, she
Okay.
didn't write it. Did she?
You're
No,
confusing me.
I'm the one who's confused. In any case, the other girl,
Notes.
she was reading the book.
Hmm.
Okay, she's not from a different world, but she. I don't even know if it was the isekai situation. Or I'm confused. I'm the one confused. But let me tell you, the in storybook tells a story of like the world that they're also in,
Okay.
and the girl who is cheating with this our main character's ex fiance, she thinks that she's the main character, so she keeps trying to do all kind of stuff to get the attention of everybody, and like that, right? So
Oh.
now our main character wants to enter into a deal with the, I think he's like the crown prince or something. They all go to the same like school
Of
because
course you do. Of course
exactly
you do.
as
Like you
one
do.
does.
All these fucking
Right? So
tropes.
the reason why she wants to enter in a deal with him though is for, again, the money.
Hmm.
She's all about making money. She like has the store as well. She's doing well,
Mm.
in terms of the cash, right? So but the other girl, she is like, so since the story, she thinks the story is about her or something,
Uh-huh.
and she wants to have like the attention of the crown prince guy as well. It's ridiculous that she would even think the story is about her, first of all. And why do you, you know what I don't understand? Why do characters who have had an affair think that they're in the right if the other party was considered evil?
I don't know. I guess they're like, oh, they were evil, so it's fine, type of thing.
No.
Yeah, that's how it works, Kimberly.
Anyhow, she's really silly as well. I want to call her dumb, but she still has a brain, so that's, I can't anything. But our main character is awesome. I like her a lot. I like her a lot, a lot. And her brother is great.
I have another one that kind of combines something that we both like and hate.
What?
Civilization. No, not civilization. Oh my god, I'm such an cultivation. You know, cultivation.
Farming?
No, Kim, not
Agriculture?
agricultural cultivation. I'm talking about, the
Chi.
chi.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So this one is called "I am the martial villainess, but I'm the strongest." Right? It's, or you can already tell that it's a isekai into I think a novel type of story, and she pretty much is kind of like a villainess type of situation because she gets into the character, and but the girl was a bitch,
Hmm.
like 100% a bitch, and her stepmother was probably going to get her, was planning to get her killed, and she's been was poisoning her over years and years
Ah.
so that she wouldn't be able to, use ki and martial arts
Hmm.
or whatever. So she realizes that she's in the story, and that I'm going to fix this whole issue with my step family and my dad.
Hmm.
B, I'm going to get my martial arts online so I could defend myself so nobody can fight me and do nothing stuff. And C, she kind of falls in love with this other guy. I kind
What is
of
kind of falls in love?
they're falling in love. The last time I read it, it's been a while. I haven't like caught up on it, but they're falling in love. Okay, no, they're pretty much dating at this point. And now it's like he give her presents, she has given his presents. He protected her from when she was in danger. She protected him when
Uh,
he was also in danger, type of thing.
I
And I was
kind of
like,
hate that.
it's I won't
I don't
lie.
hate the story.
This is
It's
kind of
just.
this is kind of more typical type of story on this one.
Mhm.
She's proven herself. People get really mad if she can't defend herself, but that was like one time because if she was caught off guard and she was tired as well. But she is pretty much trying to be like, I mean, the literal thing is that I'm the villainess, but I'm the strongest. It's pretty much, you already kind of see that there is a, so it's a blend of both the whole power fantasy type of
Mm-hmm,
thing, but
mm-hmm.
there's also this whole angle of her being a villainess and trying to figure out all these schemes going on with other families. She also got rid of the guy that the character was chasing after this other guy. So, and he was also trying to get somebody else. So now that she has changed her mind and people realize she's done a complete 180,
Mm-hmm.
he is now being like, why isn't she chasing me
Oh my
anymore?
God.
I see what I mean. I saw your eyes, yes. And now when she's with her new Humbe and whatnot, everybody's like, oh, why are you
What do
with
you mean
him?
Humbe?
Isn't that what it's called? It
Hube?
Hube,
Her
yeah.
younger junior
Oh,
apprentice or something.
no.
Hube?
Isn't it like
What are you trying to say? Is
isn't
it
it
her
like
senior?
lover or like something? What's the word I'm looking for? Look,
Um,
my Korean is terrible. I tried it and I failed it.
Yobo is
Isn't it?
it wouldn't be you wouldn't say you're with your Yobo though. That's what you call the person.
That's what it is to her then,
No,
yeah.
no, that's not it.
No? Whatever. Let's just like whenever people see her with him, they're always like, look at her and him. That type of like semi jazz. Like she was garbage. Y'all had completely given up on her,
Hmm.
and now that she's kind of like removing herself from y'all, proving that she could stand on her 2 feet. Now everybody got an issue. But they got all little political scheming with the mother trying to poison her and her trying to get her brother to inherit the family, but she's the
Hmm.
one in the first. But now that she's proven that she has her martial arts, her dad is like, okay, I'm going to put you in lead and stuff now because you've proven yourself. That type of shit. I like it. I haven't read it in a while, and I'm probably months behind. But from what I remember, I enjoyed it.
I see.
Yes. And they always draw her and the guy really nice together in their outfits and stuff. They
Hmm.
really started to push the romance angle like not too recently ago, and I was like, I'm okay with this. I'm
Okay,
okay with
you
this.
should be.
And everyone in the comments is like, yeah, we're getting action, but we're okay with this.
Yeah.
We're okay with the couple that people actually liked
Hmm.
being together type of stuff. So he also has this whole thing where his brother was like the emperor,
Uh-huh.
but his brother's pretending to be dead and he's also pretending to be not like alive so that people won't come after them and stuff like that. It's really good. And
Wow.
his brother knows that he's well, and people thought that they had like a bad
Estranged.
relationship, but it was actually that they really cared for one another. And
Okay.
but he went into
Christopher, I can tell that you like this like a soap opera. I can tell.
yes.
I can
It's
tell.
all like flooding back to me. This is your
Uh-huh.
fault. You brought up fucking like villainess stuff, and all I'm like, oh my god, I
Let
remember
me tell you
this.
something. One thing from what you said that I sometimes don't like.
Mm.
That is, why is it that the main male
Uh
character
huh.
always has this thing, we're gonna call it a thing, where
Mm-hmm.
he feels that he has to protect,
Protect my
yeah,
girl.
yeah, his girl. He's like, I want to protect you. It's like,
The thing is, right? Most of the
okay.
time when they do it in these things, is just to give you like romantic scenes where they look into each other's eyes. It's like the violence that's happening around does not matter. The whole instigation, maybe the kidnapping or whatever, does not matter. It's also that we could get that one scene, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where he either picks up the girl and they look directly into each other's eyes, or they kiss or they don't kiss, that type of thing. That's all it is. That's all it is to just get that scene.
Oh, there was something else as well.
Okay.
Um, you know when the other characters around realize that maybe this other person has changed,
Yes.
that they're different. They're not like how they used to be, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes the story will make the other characters infer that, oh my goodness, they're a completely different person. Or did they see the future and that's why they didn't know how to like conspire now and stuff? It's just like when you say things so directly, it makes me not want to read anymore.
It's too on the nose.
Yeah, yeah.
It's too on
Don't
the nose.
say odd things like that. You don't know nothing about
It's
going into the
almost like he knows
future or
exactly
something.
what I'm going to do.
Exactly. Just say something like, how do they know what I'm gonna do?
Mm.
Instead of Did they see their whole future? I saw that recently and I was just like, man,
How did they know these very specific things? This is sus. Do they have someone working on the inside?
that
That
works.
works. That type. Do they have spies since when? You know that type of stuff. But it's like, did this person reincarnate?
Exactly.
Looks
Although,
directly at the viewer and the
yeah,
audience
yeah,
type of
yeah.
situation.
It's fine when we know that there's some way for people to find out that the
That
person
this,
may
yes,
not be real.
yes.
Like in the one that I read recently as well, it's called Kill the Villainess.
Oh my god.
So the priest, this because this world has magic and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The priest, he tells her that her soul, he can tell that she's not of this world because her soul is a different color to everybody else in this
Ah,
whole world. Well,
I
everyone
see.
he's ever met from our world. That's how he knows that she's not her. So the first time they met, he asked her, "Who are you?" And she was like, she got agitated. It's like, "Who are you to ask me who I am?" Blah 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 and stuff. And actually, this one, Kill the Villainess, is quite dark
I mean, it's
because
literally called "Kill the
it
Villainess."
is in that though. Anyhow, it's dark, but it's not bad, and it has a lot of other things that I don't. A lot of tropes as well that I don't like,
Things
but
are tropey, Kim. You
I
gotta get
stay
over
with
it.
it for the main character, because I want her to be happy.
I got
It's
you.
not about romance or anything like that. It's I want her to be
I
happy.
want her to achieve some happiness.
Yeah, because we saw her past life and that wasn't very great.
Mm.
Um, and now she can't even, she's tried to die actually several times, but the
Oh,
story, like,
prevents her?
it does, and it also makes it seem like it'll make it seem like it'll change the story. Like if she, I don't know what happened. Like if she fell over the balcony,
Hmm.
it'll say something like maybe there was a gust of wind and she fell, but not that
But
she
she
tried to
didn't
kill
kill
herself.
herself, or she died.
Or yeah, they'll say something like maybe a robber came in and cut her throat instead of her cutting her throat herself, kind of things like that.
Mm.
So she has tried actually to kill herself several times
To escape.
and it didn't work. So she
Oh.
got in contact with a witch. Um it's not bad. The story's
I
going
like
well, I
the
have to
idea
say.
here that she's actively trying to get out of the isekai.
Yeah.
Those stories are rare. I remember reading one where, well, this is completely going off, but the guy, he was in he was in the isekai, and I think what it was like he didn't die
Hmm.
or whatever. He was pulled over into a new world somehow through a portal or something. But he had like a wife and kids,
Hmm.
and his whole thing was that he wanted to get back.
Oh my goodness. That that's what I wanted to ask you about as well. It's
What?
so great that you said that. It's
What?
so great that you said that. That exact storyline is
Mm-hmm.
one that I'm looking for now.
Oh, somebody trying to
Where exactly
get
you
back.
ever realize that all of these like isekai reincarnatings, they either tell us that the character is dead or they'll
Dead.
show us that their life wasn't that great, so why should they want to go back?
Yes, that's where they get
However,
trapped.
what about the characters who had great family lives, who had,
Ah.
kids, who had, partners that loved them, that didn't cheat on them or try to kill them? What about them? That they really want to get back to their own life. Have you ever seen anything like that where the person actually was able to return?
Able to return.
That's the point.
Hmm. Able to return. I feel like there was one where the character was able to come back. But shoot, it's not. I'm not popping into my head right now.
Mm.
But I do know of something that's similar. But I don't know. Ayuku Reijo Tensei Oji-san. I think I said that. I saw your face. Look, my Japanese is
Akuyaku Reijo.
Akuyaku Reijo.
Right, the one with the The
The
dad.
dad who falls into his
Yeah.
daughter's game, and
Yeah.
he's now the villainess. Well, the villainess character,
Yeah.
and they are aware that he's in the game as well. His wife and daughter. I assume he's going to get out,
Hmm.
right? Because he's playing through it. He knows that he's in the game and he's playing the character and stuff like that. But he's being like nice, and he's just being like he's kind of being like I don't really like this take. He's inside of the villainess character. He's still acting as her, but he's being like himself as well as her.
Hmm.
It's great. I really like. I hope when they separate the two, because eventually he has to come out somehow.
Well,
I don't think he could be
usually
trapped in
when
there.
it's a game, they have even those regular ones where the person goes into the game and then they like dematerialize in our
Mm,
world and they go in some kind of way and then they come back.
mhm.
So I could believe that there's some kind of way from a game, but what about from a novel or
Oh,
into another
I remember
world?
now. I remember now.
What?
Isekai Oji-san, which is currently airing right now, is kind of that. The uncle, um, he went into a coma or was in an accident or what years ago, but he was isekai'd.
Hmm.
But his body didn't die on Earth; it was in a coma.
Hmm.
But when he comes back, he's not in the body, but he has all the memories and magic that he had while he was isekai.
Okay, but he was in a coma.
He was in a coma.
They don't.
His instance of being isekai is rare because you don't see that often. Like you mentioned before, it is you get either pulled in completely wholesale your body and you're put into this person,
Mhm.
your body dies in your
Or they
normal
just
life.
don't tell us what happened.
Exactly. Or you just like never ever the gods say you can't go back.
Right? The
They're just like
gods.
you get to reincarnate, but you can't go back to your world or whatever. They never allow you to reincarnate in the same world at all. They never do. Nothing, no stories like that allow you to
That's
do
why
that.
I had like the one that I told you about earlier
What?
with the villainess's debut novel because she has been
She's been
reincarnated
reincarnated over and over
continuously into this life, but just as different things.
over time as well, which is pretty
Hmm.
cool.
Another thing would be when you mentioned the one with the dad that is in the game.
Hmm.
There are not a lot of like gender swap ones, are there?
Rarely. I think it's rare, but it's not super super rare. I guess the best way to say it. I've seen a lot of stories where, well, just basic isekai stories, not obviously vanilla stories, but where the characters either become male or female, vice versa from what they started off as first.
I
I've
want to
seen
see
that a lot.
villainess ones.
Um, that one is one with the dad is honestly probably the only one where I know of a situation where the character is a villainess and they started male and then they were in a female body afterwards. That's the only time I know that. But other isekai stuff I've seen it numerous times where the
Yeah,
character
there
becomes a girl or the girl becomes a
there are
guy.
a lot of those, but not
The
like you
villainess
said.
trope.
Yeah.
I do well. There is one where the boy is put into a game by his sister, and he is being romanced by all the male leads in the game, but he isn't interested in guys. But the only way for him to complete the game is if he actually like choose a route to get out of the game. So I can't remember what it's called. It now just popped into my head. I remember it being kind of funny, but
That reminds me of another
I
one.
didn't read it all the way through, and the updates were kind of slow.
The one that reminds me of this girl. I think she also fell into a different world or a book or something, and she she's died so many times.
Ah,
She's like an old granny. She's lived so many lives and she has to stop like her brother from getting involved with any of the other. Oh no, it's a game. It's a game, I think. Or is it a story? Oh,
they
these
all
confuse
blend
me.
together
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
much. It doesn't really
So
matter.
there are like a whole bunch of male characters,
Hmm.
and it's like they are going to find some kind of like with her younger brother, but she's trying to stop that.
I
It's
think I know
called
this. Stay away from my brother
yeah,
or
yeah. It's
something.
like you're all dead if or
If you
keep
touch
your
my
hands
brother,
up.
keep
Yeah,
your
yeah,
eyes
yeah.
off my
That one,
brother.
that one, that one,
I've
that
seen
one.
that because I think she mentions like one of them is like one a few of them are like pedophiles or something like
Yeah, yeah.
that.
And that one was like they like kind of played
Oh,
off
for
as like
last, but
comedy,
she was
but
super serious
it
about like yes,
it's quite serious. He
yeah.
was abusing the younger brother before they found him and brought him into the house to find being because they didn't find out at first that he was actually the count or whoever's son. Didn't
Exactly.
know until later. In any case,
Yeah,
yeah.
bye.
So she's like trying to stop all of them from like being around him. But the thing that seems to be happening is that he's becoming kind of like obsessed with her attention as well.
Oh, it's one of those situations.
Yeah.
Well, this is different. This one, not you mentioned like obsessed with attention. I became the villain's mother. She isn't the villainess or anything, but she read a story and she's the villain's mother, but she's realized how he was raised and stuff like the family and the dad is cold. So she's now like trying to be like, oh my goodness, I need to change the story.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be good to this kid. Because also, when the villain gets older, he kills his mother because she was bad to him.
Mm-hmm.
And she is considered a stepmother because the mother died years before. And so she's trying to be a good to him just because she wants to be a good person and
Yeah.
because well it keeps her alive.
Yeah.
And over like the course of like the I guess the first part of the story, for what I remember, she is getting along really good with him and he's beginning to open it and he realizes himself that he really loves the attention, he really likes her, and the dad himself is also kind of getting closer to her and they're actually like beginning to like form together as a family
Mm-hmm.
type of situation. So she thinks that they're working well and they're becoming better and they're all like looking like they're becoming a real family and they're actively trying to work to be better to be with her and that type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Unbeknownst to her, the family is actually like the assassin family for the empire. That explains why
Oh.
the coldness of the
Yeah, yeah.
husband and the harsh training that the son was going through because they're
Mm-hmm.
trained to like do like the dirty work for the empire. And so there's scenes where she's getting to know them and stuff where the father occasionally talks to the son is like, "Were you pretending to be something that you aren't?" And the son is like, "Look, I like her and I'm going to do what I want to spend my time with her." So
Mm-hmm.
he's like actively now trying to get do different things and look cute in front of her to spend time with
Oh.
her type of thing, even though that's not in his nature because he is beginning to love her because
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have that type of person before. And the husband himself is like getting a little bit jealous of his attention type of thing.
Oh.
So that's why he also starts to become like closer and they like there's like more family stuff when they like
Mm-hmm.
hang out and just like and she herself and him the father begin to actually form an actual good better relationship with each other.
Uh-huh.
But I still like how that they're still the husband and the son are still sneaky and he's still training and like it's still the assassin family because she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't realize or I guess doesn't know at this point that the reason why they were considered antagonistic is because down the road in the future the family kind of fights with the main character who's like the prince, the crown prince, right?
Oh.
So that's what happens in the future. So she's trying to avoid that. I like that how she thinks on one side she has like brought them together as a family and there's much better now, which is true,
Mm-hmm.
but she still doesn't know like all the secrets that they're hiding, like the couple times where they have tortured people and there's blood all over the hallways in the house,
Oh.
sometimes down in the basement and things like that, because they have to do the dirty work still. So I kind of want to see where the story is going. I really do like it and it's an interesting like twist on the whole uh this idea.
I always like family ones. I feel
I do enjoy the family
there's
moments.
not, maybe it's because I just feel like all cutesy and happy when everyone is happy, but I always like the family ones. There's not one that I found that I didn't like.
Mm. I like there's a little scene where um the son he gets a little bit jealous because he thinks that when she has a kid that he'll forget about him. And she's
Um,
like, why would that be an issue? You're gonna have like a brother or a sister and you have to look out for them and take care of them. The big whole I love it. I loved it because I love it. I just love it,
okay,
okay? I just love it.
okay.
I enjoy this stuff. But yeah, I do enjoy this genre of villainess stuff. I'm glad to see that you also have a few. I have plenty of suggestions that I can recommend
Um,
you, and if you guys have any recommendations for us as well, just let us know because I
yes, if
enjoy them.
anyone is listening, you guys know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a main male character, um, villain who has fallen into a novel or whatever, and it is a romance, not an action. It is predominantly a romance, okay? No ecchi, no harem. Just nice lovey-doveyness. And a gender swap one would be nice as well.
Those are Kimberly's hopes for your recommends, and I just say I hope you guys enjoy.